So for the first method, you will need to choose a map of your liking, have a tier 16.5, 16 or 17 work as well. I personally like to use 16.5 because it's like a perfect middle ground of sweatiness. Then you'll need an influencing scarab of hordes, sacrifice at dusk. This could be any of the 4 fragments, just to add some quantity. A harvest scarab of doubling. You need this because this is what enables the mechanic or the loot to be quite juicy, because it essentially, and it duplicates life force, increases the HP by 100%, which makes them pretty tanky. So if you don't have a build that is comfortably able to do, 100% more HP of the mobs, just stick with tier 16, you'll still make plenty of money. And then this one to increase magic pack size by 40%, which is the Scarab of Monstrous Lineage. I have another fragment here. You don't really need this. I basically started using it just to add more quant, but if you haven't gotten your 5th slot yet, it's fine to not run this. For the tree, you want to basically take all the available harvest nodes, except maybe like leaving this one here, but yeah, take all of them, all the major ones, and then the thing that actually enables this entire mechanic to work the way it does is you want to get crop rotation. Basically what this does is all plants start at tier 1, and every single time you sacrifice or you juice up a plant to harvest it, it buffs up the other colored plants. So basically, let's say you have pink, yellow, and blue in your harvest map. You essentially want to do pink first, because pink is the cheapest juice, which means you never really want to harvest those because they're the least return in profit. So you want to use pink one to buff blue or yellow, and then ideally, if you have a perfect setup and you have like 2 yellow plants, you'll do blues next, which will then also buff up your yellows. And then yeah, you just basically take quant, take scarabs. We're running Searing Exarch, so we're taking the Searing Exarch with the double progress to get more invitations, scarabs, just pretty basic stuff, really. Here you go. Feel free to take a pause of this if you want to have a look at it. And without further ado, I'll show you a map. I'm going to run Strand because it's one of my favorite maps. Make sure that everything's fine. We have some rolls here, and here we go. So essentially, the way you maximize the profit per hour is you actually don't complete the map. What you want to do if you want to maximize profit is you want to essentially run the map, get to the harvest, do the harvest, and then if the mirage happens to be in the same location, you run the mirage, do the harvest in that one, and basically rinse and repeat until you have a lot of juice. The good thing with this league is that mirage enables you to essentially either fix a very bad juice, a juiced map. So if you get like no life force at all in a specific map, mirage can actually fix that, or you get double the juice if they're both good. There are instances where they're both cock-a-doo-doo, but that's the luck of the draw in these kinds of games. So as you can see, we have an okayish layout. Not really. It's pretty poor actually, but we have 1 yellow, 2 blues that we can, 3 blues that we could potentially use to buff up our yellows. So we'll use this. First things first. We did sacrifice the yellow one. Obviously, it didn't roll. There is a chance that you save the plant. There's a small chance where it doesn't get sacrificed, but it's pretty rare. Then we use the blue one, and hopefully that juices up the yellow one. And now, as you can see, I have a tier 4 plant, or tier 3. I think it's tier 3. Tier 4 are the bosses, and I could risk it and try to use this to buff this, but you know what? Yeah, fuck it, why not? I'm gonna buff it. Nope, no such luck. So essentially, sometimes you can try to risk it to essentially buff a plant further, but I wouldn't do that in running maps. You usually want to just run it if you... I would recommend completing the map, even though for profits, it's best off to just run the harvest and leave. Strictly because of the altar buffs, and just I'm personally running Searing Exarch, and I don't like losing loot chance, even though, farming harvest, you typically just want the harvest juice, but it's just me. I prefer running the entire map, no matter if it's T16 or T17 or T16.5, it's just the way I play. But yeah, if you want to maximize profit, you just run the harvest and fuck off, essentially. After running about 20-ish maps and spending about like an hour and a half, this is what I made, so It's not bad. I'm very, again, chill when I farm this, but this is a very good way to start making your currency in any league. Harvest has been pretty consistent because of the use of the juices, and especially now in this league with the Astrolabe craft, even the blue juice is worth getting, so let's see how much we get from all of this. Over 1000 C. Boom, there you go. 38486 gets us 1.8k chaos. That is pretty fucking good. I'm gonna keep them in I'm gonna keep the chaos as chaos for now, but that would roughly translate to 3166. That would roughly be about 11 div. So yeah, I would say you make about 11 to in between like 10 to 15 div an hour, depending on how you run maps. You probably make a lot more if you ran strictly harvests and just did juice. But yeah, that's not bad as a beginning money maker. It's pretty good. And now, on to the next one. Next method is the classic stag deck ritual grind. So for the map, we want to take all the ritual nodes highlighted here. So you want to take all this one in its entirety. You want to take the fork of this tree, the 3 at the bottom and the 1 at the top, the right side up to the top of this tree up here, and the very last one, basically the entire circle and the 1 at the top. We also want to go Searing Exarch because the Exarch altar has a modifier that says basic currency has a chance to be duplicated, and as far as I know, unless they've changed it, stag decks counts as basic currency. So we want to basically take this one for double progress chance and this one to increase altar rewards. This is relatively a chill grind. You do still need to be a bit careful because it can get pretty rippy, because basically what we'll be doing is we'll be spawning a specific type of mob called Doedre's Devoted, and they have basically prod shield, and you need to be inside their AoE to kill them. If you can't kill them, you will die. But if you have like a mid-game build, you should be able to clear them relatively easy. This is what the tree looks like. I've taken stuff that basically increases chances to get nightmare maps and scarabs. I've taken the inner circle just by taking like some essence, because even if we do essences, they're very easy to clean up, but mainly to get access to this ring here, and just the basic scarab nodes and some magic pack and pack size. But yeah, this is what the tree looks like. You want to have a look at it. And now, without further ado, I'll show you the scarab setup, which is probably the simplest scarab setup out of all of these. So basically, again, if you want to do this very chill and you don't want to sweat too much, grab a T16. Ideally, what you want to do is you run either Toxic Sewers or Jungle Valley. Toxic Sewer has been taken out of the map rotation this league, so unfortunately you can't run it. So basically, just put this in here. 5 of these stack to a limit of 5 times. It will basically guarantee the most amount of spawns, and the way it works is Ritual Altar respawns the mobs that die around it. Once you do the ritual, basically you get an increased chance, because once you kill the mobs around the ritual, you will get access a second time to the drop table of the monsters you kill. So basically you clear the map, do the ritual altars, and once you clear them, you get a second chance of rolling stag decks onto the tree. With the Searing Exarch altars, you basically have a chance to get a ridiculous amount of decks per maps. And with that, I will show you, and then we'll run some maps, and we'll see what we get. So as you can see, yeah, look at that. This is what I mean by rippy. If you're not careful, which basically I never am, you will die. If you have a pretty tanky build or any build that can bypass that shield, yeah, they also lose the shield after a certain amount of time, so it's not the end of the world. You just need to be careful and kite around a little bit. My build isn't exactly the best for the strat, but you can do it. You just need to be a little bit more careful. And naturally, this counts double in this league because Mirage basically copies a part of your map. So if you're lucky, you can get more of Doedre's Devoted, and you get a lot more death. Death is what you get. Holy sweet baby J. So just out of that map with no doubling altar, we made 79, just short of 80 stag decks. And for one stag deck, we are currently seeing... So one stag deck is 3C. So just out of that map, we made 260 EC. Just like that. Just like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run 20 maps, or, well, 19, and we'll see what we're sitting at once I'm finished. So as you can see, I just finished my last map. Funnily enough, I got an audience with the king, which is actually really fucking cheap. It's like, Jesus. That was... I actually did 10 maps. I know I said I'll run 20, but I have run out of both patience and time. So 10 maps it is. It took me way longer than I would have liked to, and I kept distracting myself, truth be told. So last haul. So in 10 maps, we made a total of 610 stack decks. We were pretty unlucky because on those 10 maps, I only got the duplicating basic currency once. Still, 610 stack decks amounts to about 1.9k chaos orbs, which is pretty good. That's about 7 divine. So yeah, about 7 divine in 10 maps. It did take me like an hour and a half, 2 hours to do this. I did take a lot of breaks. I'm someone who does like 2-3 maps and I walk away from the computer because I start getting jittery. But yeah, about 7 divine in 10 maps. And if you run maps pretty fast, that's pretty good money. And it's pretty chill. You just turn your brain off and kill shit, essentially. And now, last but not least, the last strategy is a bit harder than the rest, but it's also somewhat simpler. What we are going to do now is called Fortress Rush. Basically, what you do is you go to Fortress, and you just... you go to Fortress, and you just maximize quantity of items. That's it. That's literally... You maximize quantity of items, and the tree... Basically, the tree looks something like this. Yeah, so basically, this is the Fortress Rush, if you want to have a look at it. And yeah, I'll run 10 maps, again, nightmare maps this time, and we'll see what we come out with. I recommend running Fortress, by the way, because this is the least AIDS nightmare map out of all of them. You do have to have a build that either clears very fast, or is tanky, because T17 mobs and bosses hit like a fucking truck. Yeah, like that, and droning orbs. The whole idea is you essentially go through the map, get to the boss, kill him for the fragments, and fucking die. God, yo, chill, bro. It's like, ooh, fire of death. They do have like 300% crit chance, so yeah, anything that... yes, fist me, Mr. Robot. Yeah, and that's how you fail a map and... fail Fortress Rush, ladies and gentlemen. Have a better build than me. Oh, thank God. And I lost the map. I lost. Okay, 3rd time's the charm. This is gonna be the last day, because if I die one more fucking time in these maps, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. They spit blood and gives me chlamydia, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I just can't be fucked. I can't be fucked. Thank you for watching this very bad guide. I am going to cry myself to sleep now, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the 2 methods, and definitely not the scuffed third, that never happened. But yeah, I'm gonna be working on my build a little bit more, so that hopefully I can do T17s again, because I was farming them last week. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Take care.